Y'all know what time it is. It is time for the Remix Morning Show right here on Black Power Media. That's right. Tell a friend is on again. I go by the name of the Air Doctor. Let me introduce you to your host. We got no other than Dr. Jared Ball. No other than Burn It Down, Kim Brown. And no other than Kamal, K. Franklin.
What is up, good people?
Sorry, folks.
Good morning.
My computer was running low. I had to go get my plug, so I had to do all that. Sorry about that.
And it looks like the internet is
and the light didn't come on either.
He pays bills over there.
Whew, jeez Louise.
But the good news is we're all free. Democracy has proven yet again that America is the best.
The best at what?
That wagging the dog. That's what it is.
I feel good. I where's my voted stick? Where do I have it in my? Where's my I voted sticker?
Your badge of honor that everybody.
My badge of honor. I participated in democracy. People fought and died for us to have the right to vote.
Yeah,
what are the
I
other
didn't make it. I kind of didn't make it. Yet another year in which I didn't make it.
The line was too
long.
You
the problem.
The line was too long, Kamal.
I didn't even go. I drove by the line. I was like, "Woo, that's a long." I'm not getting out the car. I'm not getting out the car for that. That's like one of those. Like that's just like I'm punishing myself. Why would I do that?
Oh man!
See, that's why he was. That's why. And if you remember, that photo was literally taken from one of those long voting lines where he was crying about the struggle with voting lines and hampering Black people participating in this wondrous democracy. So the Kamal, you brought it back to the origin.
I know I was crying for the other way. It's like, God damn. Oof, I gotta participate in this bullshit again. Somebody wants me to participate.
That's how I felt standing in
it.
It is a little. I was a little depressed standing in the line. I can't front because the list of options, the range of political options, the discussion, the hopefulness, what the best outcome possible. I'm sitting there, I had plenty of time to think about it because they were like, no phones in the gym, no, just stand on that line and with your own thoughts and your back pain.
No scrolling. No scrolling.
And I was like, man, this is just. And then you get to look at the faces of your fellow participants, and it's like
out there in Howard County, I'd be like, Well, everybody was Black at my polling place. Everybody walking in that joint was Black. Big up to the poll workers, though. I don't know. Is it mandatory that 60-year-old Black women have to work the polls? Is that written down somewhere?
It's the new slavery. It's the new Jim Crow. It's the
only
new
at the Claremont Lounge. Only at the Claremont Lounge.
And the sister I ran into last night, every bit of the cliche too. No disrespect, but she was all.
No disrespect at all. Miss Stella helped me a lot yesterday. But I just, just the observation. I'm like, man, when I get 60, do I have to work the polls? Is this
you want that
mandatory?
Social Security? If you want that Social Security, I think they hold it up. Like, did you work the polls yet?
I think that's it. There was nobody under I think 65 working there last night for us.
Like a Black woman, old Black woman with the little wig on, hiding a little bit. And they got a little flowery something on, and baby, what's your name, baby?
The Black women here, they rock their natural hair because they
rock
their natural. Oh yeah, and they were all masked, of course. That was wonderful. I was very encouraged to see that.
Not in my gym. I was almost alone. People looking at me like, "What's wrong with him?" Like none of the poll workers were masked.
Oh God!
No, I'm lying. That's not true. A good number were not, but some of them were.
Yeah.
Well,
your point, Kim. Oh, my bad, here, Doctor. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just saying. Yeah, the Claremont Lounge is a strip club, and they do have 60-year-old women in there working the polls. All right, I'll catch y'all next break.
I didn't get the reference. I did not get the reference until he explained it. I didn't know.
Shit, I might do that at 60. Why not? Go in there and take a twirl. Hopefully they got the poles with the fucking what's the accessible handles on the joint so you don't fall.
Or like the wheelchair lift, like the pole lift. You don't got it. You just sit down on the chair and it lifts you up and down.
If the internet has taught me anything, there is an audience for everything. So go ahead. Somebody will be there.
I got you, Kim. It's gonna be all crumpled. It's gonna be all crumpled up in my pocket. Here you go, girl.
I don't care. Will the bank take it? Yep, that's all I care
the bank
about.
Will take the note, bro.
Bus focus.
I can't. No focus. No focus. But let's focus real quick. So I want to big up to Marylanders who legalized marijuana finally in the state of Maryland. There were 5 states last night vying for marijuana legalization. And out of those states, here are the states. It was Missouri, Arkansas, North Dakota, South Dakota, and Maryland. And Maryland's very out of place within the rest of those states. And the reason is because Maryland was very reluctant to decriminalize marijuana at all, and even slower to legalize for recreational sales. Because, as I said on my show last night, Maryland loved locking niggas up for weed. They loved it. It was a multi-decade practice. They did not want to relinquish that at all. But now, here we are. The voters of Maryland have spoken, finally.
And we were joking off air. I went in that joint, pun intended, and skipped to the second page of that ballot, flipped that bad boy over with skirt.
That was your first vote? You were like,
first vote. I was like, let me make sure it stay within the line. I was like, all neat. Like, make sure they get.
Who got that first black governor? Was that Maryland or was that someplace else?
Maryland too. Yes. Oprah. Thank you, Oprah.
The new Barack. The new Barack.
The new Barack op. Yep. That's him. And like I said on my show also last night, for the first time, I heard the local news describe his profession as an investment banker. I'm like, what? He's a what? That's the first time I ever heard him described as an investment banker. I've heard former veteran and Rhodes Scholar. What else did they say Westmore was? Oh, he used to work at a anti-poverty nonprofit. The first time I ever heard that he was an investment banker. I said, this nigga is giving nothing but red flags, dog. Nothing but red flags.
The first 3 you listed were red flag. Military check, nonprofit check. What was the other one? I forgot the other one already.
Rhodes Scholar.
Check.
Triple check.
Hey, because I remember Bernard Magubane's work on Southern Africa, where he broke down the history of Cecil Rhodes and the Rhodes Scholarship. And Cecil Rhodes was very explicit. I am leaving this so white men can be constantly reminded to rule the world, that they are ruling the world. And in the fine print, it said, if we got to give a few dollars to some Negroes to make it look good in the future, go ahead.
And backed by Oprah. I mean, come on, y'all. I'm not the only. Y'all see it, right? Y'all see it.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, good.
That's why I voted for the Green Party. That's what I was saying. Like, I was in there depressed. I was in there like, I'm in here voting just so nobody can say, well, just so Roland Martin can't yell at me. And you know, it's like, man, this is not a good.
Yeah, I get family members. I get the family members who they give the job. It was like, how could you not? It's like, oh God. Only when my wife forces me to go, and usually she can, but like the last several years, I've been dipping and dodging to avoid.
I can't say the tactic doesn't work. My tactic doesn't work. I mean, I say I do it just so I can, blunt that argument, so that when people, again, pun intended, when people come and say, well, if you don't vote, I'm like, okay, I voted. I did that. I did the Navy.
Now what?
I did the house with the picket fence. I did you know what I'm saying? I got all the degrees. Mm-hmm. I pay all the taxes, and the shit is still fucked up.
And you still participate in the voting scam. You just listed all the rest of them scams. You just listed all the rest of them scams, and you still participate in the voting scam.
So my point is, though, I'm saying I do all of this so I can say, look, I've done every single thing that you all say we're supposed to do, and look at this mess. It's still a mess. So now what? And I used to think that this could be a tactic to use in arguments, but people still find another way. They're like, well, it's still because you didn't do this or you didn't do that or they didn't do it. It's like, all right,
well, enough of your kind didn't come out. Or
yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Or you voted for the wrong one or something.
No, like you're right. You voted, but you didn't bring enough people with you. So it's like, oh man.
Well, here in Georgia, there's going to be a runoff. It looks like between Warnock and Herschel Walker, which proves white people are still crazy after all these years. Just if we needed further proof, right? You know what I mean? I was just like, again? I was like, God damn.
No,
and it's going to be tight because the only reason it was a runoff is because there's a libertarian candidate who took approximately 2% of the vote. Now, you know where all them motherfuckers going to go during the runoff election or whatever. So you may have Herschel Walker as a senator. You know what I'm saying?
No, nigga, you may have Herschel Walker as a senator. You may have Herschel Walker as a senator. Yeah. Hold on. What happened with that governor's race? Is Stacey in there? She out of there? Is that a done deal?
Oh, that was bad. That was bad. She lost by like at least 7 to 9 points. It was closer to last time. Maybe it was the incumbency, but she got waxed.
I think people got enough of a look at her. And some of that mythology about the black woman, right? You know, about this black woman coming from the community doing all these good things. I think some of that luster got.
And it's the incumbent thing. I think the white people came out in droves. It was like, are you crazy?
And you stayed home, Kamal. That's see.
Your
she
fault.
was one vote closer.
Now I don't think we got into. I don't know. I don't think we've gotten into it yet. But I think the real reason that the runoff is so close is because Breitbart attacked our comrade and set off a whole thing, you know, and confused the vote. Can we blame Breitbart?
We can blame Breitbart, yeah. We can bring that up in the
out
news.
our brother Sudiata Chajiwa, who had in a recent commentary referred to Herschel Walker as coonish. And then Breitbart, the great defenders of black image and history, have come out to defend Herschel and this racist attack, this anti-black attack from one of his own. So
they were
shocked and appalled that anyone could speak of anyone with this kind of language.
Don't we call them niggas coons all the time? I mean, I know we use the term coon liberally, here. There's lots of coons. Come on now.
Well, let's not go too deep. I got to pull it up as the first news story. When we come back from our break. When we come back from our break. We got to go through that article.
Right on. So anyway, shout out again to everybody who voted, especially those who legalized marijuana. So when does that kick in, by the way? Is it good now? Can we just smoke? Is it good? Is it, are we safe?
They're going to light up.
So not quite. I mean, so we are safe. Safe is a relative term. Safe is a relative term used by Black Americans here in America. But no, so what this legalization does, I think it allows you to possess an ounce and a half on your person. By the way, it's 2 ounces in DC. So Maryland, of course, had to do worse than Washington. Like, we don't want to be as liberal as DC, whatever the fuck. Anyway,
the whiter DC gets, the more green you can hold.
Oh my God. So that's it. I mean, they shouldn't be fucking with you, period. They shouldn't be fucking with you now over weed, because you can have 10 grams legally, decriminalized without any issue. And the smell of marijuana supposedly is no longer probable cause for the police to search you or your vehicle or whatever.
So now they just say, oh, I think I smell cocaine. I think I smell a gun.
I think I smell fentanyl.
Gun.
Speaking of smelling cocaine.
Oh shit.
That was a good one. I ain't got a rebuttal.
I wasn't snorting it. I was just smelling
it. Yeah.
In the
doctor, that picture, you posted a picture on Instagram from 96.
Oh my goodness.
It's you and your bruvs. I said, look at these cuties. I said, whoa.
Man.
What? Can you bring that up? Bring that up real quick.
What you say?
Bring that up. Let me see the cuties.
I'll work on
Did
finding.
you have hair back then? You had hair?
Yeah,
I had my
he had
locks.
hair.
You had the locks?
Yeah,
Yes, he had locks.
and I needed to get it retwisted. I had a whole lot of new growth right here though. It looked like I had a
New growth?
fro with locks. But
Looking
yeah.
like golden arms, shining.
Remember those problems.
But,
Just
but
glowing.
how big the clothes was back then? Oh my gosh! When you yeah,
You look like Daddy Mac, make you jump.
I did. Yeah, I did. Well, yo, let's go ahead and get to our first break right here on the Remix Morning Show. What up, everybody? What up? This is the Remix Morning Show right here on Black Power Media. Go ahead and hit that like button if you just coming up in here, and hit that share button. Let somebody else know what's going on. And subscribe if you haven't already. We got patreon.com. That's how we make sure this thing keep going. Y'all know we ain't getting no corporate sponsors how we be talking. So come on. We need y'all help to keep this going. With that said, let me go ahead and give you the weather report. Yo, it's tight brick outside today, man. I mean, it's a little cold. It's going to get a little warmer here in the ATL, especially with what's going on with all these people voting. They're a little heated, so it might heat up today. All right, so let's talk about first Columbia, South Carolina. Big up to Columbia. They got a high today of 68 degrees. Next, let's take it up to Boston, where they say "ka" and stuff like that. Massachusetts, they got a high today of 51. All right, next, let's take it over to Cleveland, Ohio, where they rock out on some rock and roll. They got a high today of 65 degrees. Now, let's take it over a little bit to the west side, over to Denver, Colorado, where they are surely blazing it up. They got a high day of 70. Now, let's take it a little up north to Seattle, Washington. They got a high of only 40 today. Ooh, 41. That's cold. All right, next, let's take it to David, Panama. That's right, David, Panama. We're going to the islands. They got a high today of 77 degrees. And last but not least, Al-Fashir in Sudan. They got a high today of 94 degrees. That's pretty hot. I'll tell you what else is hot. Me, the other day when somebody broke into my truck and stole my laptop, and man, listen, all my hard drive, my music, all that was on there. But I had backup, so I'm a BI. But come on, man. What did I learn from that? I gotta stay on it. I can't think that Atlanta's Wakanda. You know what I mean? Gotta realize there's some real thieves out here. I got a little bit too comfortable. So with that said, let me go ahead and take us back to the Remix Morning Show.
Hey, it's hunger in the streets that's hard to defeat. Many still for sport, but many still to eat.
They out here, man. They out
Listen, having just reviewed the first Black Panther film for the most recent Black Film Pitch meeting, I'm interested in your reference there in this context, because I'm reminded that nobody explains the economy of Wakanda. So you get a little shot of how people walking and shopping and all of that, but nobody explains the currency, the economy, how is it determined who's behind the storefront and who's shopping at the store. There's no discussion of class. So I was like, yeah, Atlanta might be more Wakanda than you realize. Maybe we just didn't see the parts of the hoods of Wakanda where people were stealing people's laptops because all the money was flowing up to the king. You know what I'm saying? I was like, where's the anyway? So, but all serious, man. I'm very sorry to hear that, and
yeah,
that's terrible.
Hey, and I stay south of Atlanta now. I moved to the south side, so you know how it is the south side in most places. Oh, he found the picture.
I was like, there's Wakanda, son. There's Wakanda.
That's me, Masiki Scales, and my boy Zaki. Oh man, that was back in
from Chicago.
Yeah. That's
I see it.
That's when That's when we formed our own organization on campus called Society of Ma'at, and we won an award for being best organization on campus because we knew that we were not Black Greeks. So therefore, we started our own.
Good for you, Air Doctor. That's what shit I'm talking about.
All right, get rid of that
Right.
picture, man. Come on.
Nah, there's a lot of
Why?
growth there. That's a lot of growth.
It's some
yeah.
big ass clothes though. I forgot.
See
You
that?
are right.
know.
See that shirt?
God damn.
Like a tent. It's like a homeless family tent up in that shit.
I look mad short.
My
I
bad.
love it.
All right. You got me there. All right, I'll catch you on next break, man. Let's get this news.
Right on.
All I
Just-
see from that picture, all I smell is black soap and incense and freaking
Some oils.
sandalwood oils. I said, yeah.
Hey, I got my black coconut oil right now. Like I still dabble in my Africa soaps and oils.
Little black
And-
soap.
And I get and it's I get joked a lot. There's a lot of jokes about that around here. You know what I mean? It's you know what I mean? It's a lot of
When you say around here, you mean your family literally be joking you behind that shit, Jared?
They be like, look
They
at this
do.
whole tip, dude.
Oh my gosh, I'm sure your daughters be roasting your ass. Like,
Oh,
what
man.
is this? Daughters be roasting you.
they stay on the jokes. Thank you, Infinite Content. What kind of sells off minimal amount of vibranium and ag products to keep them from using fossil fuels. Vibranium goes for like 1 million per gram. Very nice. Thank you for breaking down. It still don't explain the distribution. Never mind. Anyway. Before we get to the news, though, just real quick, like I just wanted, if I could just share quick, because the other day had a break in the matrix, I guess, and I was able to actually physically attend an activist event for the first time in what feels like forever. So I showed up at the Black is Back rally in DC in Malcolm X Park, which Google Maps still wants to call Meridian Hill for its all that imperial whiteness, not recognizing that the people had reclaimed that space. Although that fight needs to happen again, because showed up at the park. And of course, it is the new DC. So I was, welcomed back to the new DC. I used to live right there on that corner of 15th and Euclid, where my apartment window could look over the park. But so to be back there and see what unfortunately was a small crowd around a stage, and most of the people in the park were non-African, non-Black, non-radical, and there for whatever else, just to enjoy the day. But the real thing I wanted to just say real quick was, as great as it was to see Jackie and some others there, there's a lot of undealt with, unprincipled behavior in these movements that I think is hampering the movements from growing to the size they need to. And I'm just saying that it's not my story, but I just was reminded, I ran into somebody I hadn't seen in a while, was reminded of this unchecked situation that they had to suffer while those who behaved in this ignoble way continue on unchecked. And it's frustrating, and I honestly don't know what to do with it. And I think it has something to do with the low turnout, with the overall condition of our struggle. I don't think it's the number one issue, but I think it is an issue. But to see like people's field trips walking by with bigger crowds than were gathered at this event, to see people throwing frisbees around, while people are trying to give speeches about the Black condition. I mean, it was just like, man, we're not. And I do think this is something, so I don't know what to do about it. I just want to put that out there. Like, I just feel like we got some principle and some character and some issues that I think, I don't know how to do it, but it has to happen. So that's it. I just wanted to share that real quick. Put that out there in the ether. And
No, those are always my saddest moments when I went to rallies that were not well attended. You buck up and suffer through it, but you're like where the folks at or whatever, or that kind of thing. So, and I agree,
the same people, like I saw the same handful of people that I used to always see. It's like it was like the same crew, and we're not, the crowd. Anyway, my bad. Go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
No. I mean, I was going to say, that's why we continually have to try different methods and means and other coalitions, because that coalition, the Black, that's like a 20-year-old coalition or whatever. So folks have to take a look at like what the practice is to see why, right? So yeah,
not quite 20, but close. I mean, it was formed right after Obama got elected. and I know, you know, Glenn passing doesn't help, and all, you know, with all of that, Glenn Ford, but I don't know, but but when I saw this person, and honestly, I don't even know if they know that I know what had gone on. You know what I mean? So it's not my place to like, but it just triggered this feeling. I'm standing there and I see this person. I'm like, this has never been dealt with. This person went through some bullshit.
Harm? Did the person cause harm? I mean, I know we're not.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
And so it's known that this person has caused harm, and nobody has yanked this person up.
I know it, and no one has yanked this person up. And
are you in a position to yank this person?
I technically am. I mean, I could have. I mean, I would have. I mean, I would have. If I would have my even physical condition alone, I would have required hospitalization regardless of how well I did in the effort. But
I mean, even in the vague ways that you're referring to this, I'm implying that there was some abuse, right?
Yeah.
Of some kind, right? So how come? Like you're highlighting a very critical point that I've talked about on this show. Like there's no accountability for abuses. Niggas will know that people are abusive and be like, damn, you know what I'm saying? But nothing happens.
I submit myself humbly before yours and everyone else's court on this issue. My thing is if I thought about again, like what. So if I was to address that situation, for instance, on Saturday, like what the scenario would have been, there would have been physical conflict. There would have likely been, again, I would have definitely needed hospitalization, even if I won. There would have been
hospitalization, though, Jared. I mean,
no, I'm serious because we gotta, because I don't like to really talk about it that openly, but like there are issues. Like I know I look beautiful and wonderful and healthy and everything and perfect, but there, you know, I'm 51 now. I'm not 20 anymore. I got issues. I got some things. You know what I mean? And literally, I would probably have to go to the hospital, just physically trying to deal with that. And then there would also be the other part of it is you know. Who is Jared to be making this claim? What evidence does he have? Does this person even want this to come out?
That's a very valid point.
As in the victim.
As in the victim,
yeah.
You know, yeah. And then, you know, and then, so all of these things, and so this is a very, I think, a bad one, but I think there are, you know, lesser versions of this that I think just permeate these spaces that don't ever really get dealt with, in part because of a lot of different things. I don't know. So I hear you, Kim. I really do. I
think too many. I mean, there's not enough structure. There's not enough ways to hold folks accountable. People can just leave, and that's usually what happens. Folks just leave, right? Or so I think all that stuff happens in these spaces. I mean, you know, luckily I've seen, again, I'll shout out BAP, or I've seen some other movement spaces that seem to be growing. I think even our space at CMB continues to have a certain level of participation. But I mean, it's always been the case. And then you have these moments where there's huge mobilizations and you see the potential of what these spaces can offer. And a lot of times you see what happens when people create sort of, fake spaces or false spaces that take all the radical edge into them and later dissipate them. But you see that there is at least some desire for us as a folks to organize. And then, you know, we just got to keep trying to get it right. But like I've seen better spaces, but I've also been in those places too, where you're just like where the folks at? Or why more folks ain't out here? Or this is something for Mamiya, or it's something for in the past, like Daruba or other political prisoners and things like that. And you just don't see the people that you want to see. But again, I've also been in situations, 95, just going back in terms of the Mamiya thing, where literally thousands of people were out in the street when the death warrant was signed all across the country and stuff like that. So there's this moments of upswing and there's these moments of getting things together. And then sometimes, again, there's some legacy stuff that happens. And if folks don't clean it up and get it right, then we continue to suffer as a larger community. So,
But I
So
think the
look,
issue that
yes,
Jared raises about accountability or lack thereof is very valid, because if people don't feel safe in spaces, they just won't show up, right? And because of the way that our society is structured and even our legal system is structured, for example, if you're talking about something pertaining to abuse, right? Sexual abuse, domestic violence, or whatever. If a woman or if the survivor doesn't report to the police, others in the community may not take her claim as valid, right? Or their claim as legitimate. Oh, well, if so and so hit you or if so and so assaulted you, why didn't you go to the police? Well, I hope now people have a better understanding as to why survivors don't always go to the police, because what the fuck are the police going to do, right? But if that person, if the survivor, the recipient of the abuse tells others in the space and makes it be known, not to say, and of course this is an individual thing and people, have to be clear about what their desires are, but I wouldn't think, I'm not going to tell somebody in the expectation that they do nothing. Right? Like I'm just speaking for myself here. If I have said it to another person in the space who also knows the perpetrator or the abuser, I may not verbalize it, but I might have a halfway expectation of something being at minimum said. Even if you don't go beat them, go pull them aside and talk to them. Like, let it be known, like, hey, the sisters, or say the sisters in this case, the sisters are talking, okay, and this is what they said, and confront the person in that way and see what their reaction is. But if people don't feel safe, like the gossip mill will take over. Like, and again, I'm just speaking for myself here, but one African sister I was talking to told me, she was like, women use gossip as a means of protection, right? Because you have to put out the word on the abuser, on the harmful person. If a person, for example, is spiking drinks, women have to use the grapevine amongst themselves. Hey, don't leave your drink around so and so, because they have a tendency to do XYZ, right? Because if the men in the space are aware, they won't do anything. They won't do anything. They won't say anything. So people have to take other means to kind of get the word out about who is the dangerous person in the spot. So I don't know, Jared. Like, I feel for you. I understand where you're coming from, because you ain't come all down there for that, right? But at the same time, if it is known that somebody has been causing harm, like, you know what the survivors' alternatives are. What are they going to do? Go to the police? What's going to happen as a result of that? So if people know that somebody is out here being harmful, and it's just sort of like a whisper campaign, or nobody want to say anything, then that's endorsement, not full out endorsement,
and
but you are saying that this behavior, it does not rise to the level of you actually having to say something to the person about it.
I know I've taken us longer than I intended to with this, and I apologize specifically to the ear doctor, but I I you're all of everything that I think everybody is saying is right. I just don't know. I don't know. The person that I saw that triggered this response, was there supporting the event.
Right.
So and specifically it's I don't know how many years ago that so I had heard of this and went to this person privately and asked them if I was hearing something accurate, and they confirmed.
Mm-hmm.
And then, but it wasn't like they were bringing it to me with this expectation. And the person in discussion wasn't in the area at the time anyway. So but I don't, anyway. So I accept whatever criticism. I'm just saying, but with this issue and others, is really the point I'm meant to, is like, I just wanted to encourage in the ether that we in these spaces figure out ways to bring issues to some sort of table for some sort of clarity, so that they don't, I think, quietly whittle away at the overall effort. But that was it.
Well, so I too will extend apologies to the ear doctor, but I got one more thing to say, because I think Kim hit something on the head. I don't think I've ever thought of it in that way before, around the use of gossip as protection, because I think that is pretty standard in movement circles, where folks will sometimes put the word out, particularly women folks, right? Will put the word out about so and so, or if I end up have people maybe say that they won't join this if so and so is involved, or that kind of thing, or is this person involved with such and such? Like, oh, I'm not going to be down with that because this is what happened, blah blah blah, and not like, but in like just that thread of communication that you're right acts as another safeguard for what the infrastructure of these organizations or movements do not provide at this particular stage in mass. So I just think that's a really good point to bring out and stuff like that. So yeah,
and it breeds resentment, I have to say, because like through the grapevine, right? Even if it's out there, right? If people know, if people have had conversations about it, then from the survivor's perspective is like, people know. Like, this ain't no secret. They know about that motherfucker. They know exactly about him because so and so has said something, somebody else has said something. And again, when nothing happens, it's like, oh well, then I guess this is just accepted behavior, huh? This person still gets to take up space in this space and have a voice and an influence in this community, and everybody knows that they have been quietly accused of da 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 da, and don't nobody do not. I mean, that does foster resentment because that makes survivors, women, LGBTQ folks, that makes us feel like we're not safe in these spaces, like our well-being is not taken into consideration, and the people that are causing harm are never directly confronted or ever removed, right? So anyway, but no, I mean, this is complicated. I think this is an excellent conversation that we might need to revisit in the future. But I appreciate you sharing that, Jared, because that's very honest of you to say that. So
it's been on my mind.
Got him.
Doctor said he's sick of us. To stop your conversation. Get on with the damn show. It's the Remix Morning Show. Yes, Black Power Media. The ear doctor in the cut playing Jesus. We got Dr. Jared Ball, the Reverend Dr. Kamal K. Franklin. It is I, your write-in candidate for governor of Maryland, Kim Brown.
Hey, that's who I voted for. I put in Kim Brown. Burn it down.
That's right. I wrote myself in for governor and Senate on the ballot last night.
I should have done. That's what I should have done. I should have done more of that. I should have just had some more fun with it.
Oh, totally.
Someone put up a picture where they did a write-in candidate of Vladimir Lenin.
Right. I mean, seriously, you could write. You could write and vote for whoever. I voted for Ghostface Killer for office before. Come on now.
Word up. Did you ever? Speaking of, did you ever in the early aughts, there was the Ghostface Chronicles blog? Did you ever see that? It was not really Ghostface, but somebody writing a blog of media criticism in like a parody of ghost lingo. It was the funniest shit ever. Anyway, shout out to Ghostface and whoever was doing that. Anyway,
news.
Where we want to go? Who wants to get us to something?
Y'all want to get into? You got news, you said, or Kamal got news?
You got. I thought you said you wanted to lead off with the Breitbart news.
Oh yeah, I can put that up. But I don't know if I'm lagging a little bit here, so y'all excuse me if that's happening.
I might be lagging. I don't know.
StreamYard's getting everybody.
So here we go. So Breitbart, our favorite place for news and information, which tells the truth about the Black community, decided to post an article titled "Despicable." Anti-racist University of Illinois professor, and they do anti-racist in quotes, of course, labels Herschel Walker subliterate and coonish. And as you can see, there's a picture of our brother, and in the caption, Black Power Media. They made sure they got that in there to make sure. So basically, the story is that University of Illinois. I'm going to read it like they had a real story, right? University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign professor and anti-racist consultant Sunyata Chajua called Georgia Republican candidate for U.S. Senate Herschel Walker subliterate and used the racial slur coonish to describe him in an op-ed complaining about black Republicans who he smeared as MAGA black white supremacists. He was getting off some good ones, I must admit, arguing that black conservatives are only capable of repeating massa Trump's talking points.
Yeah.
All these things so far are identifiably true.
But I think the
And so,
subliterate line is the best bar for
put a
me.
picture of their Herschel.
That subliterate is a hammer, dog.
I love that subliterate.
That's a chopper. God damn. Subliterate. Nigga. What? Woo. Woo.
We were like looking it up to make sure it's like, oh, where'd that word come from? I don't think I heard that one before.
Even
I
if you
can't
made
wait
it
to
up.
use that shit. The first person that fuck with me, that's gonna be you
Exactly.
subliterate motherfucker.
Woo. I
You're
love it.
below literate. You're below literate.
Continue.
There's the ear doctor, there's subliterate, and then there's you. Motherfucker. That's what I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying. Like if you call me coon, I might feel a kind of way, but you call me subliterate, now it's like we gotta come outside now.
You caught that, Kim? You like that? You don't like that, Kim? My bad.
I don't understand how ear doctor found his way into this. What did ear doctor have to do with any of that? You could have left the ear doctor alone.
I just thought it was funny. I thought it was funny.
Literate means
and of course, Breitbart pushes a nice. Oh, damn! They pushed their picture of Herschel and their picture of all the good Negroes. Some coons in a bunch, maybe coonish, surrounding Trump to show the love and care that black folks have for Trump. And so in his op-ed, it says he targeted Terrence Stuber and another black Republican who is running for Champaign County clerk against Aaron Amons, the Democratic candidate. And lastly, he was recruited by, and this is a quote from the article, the original article, which I think the newspaper that published it, actually, if I'm not mistaken, what Sundiata said, they actually did take it down for fear of the pushback from Breitbart. So it says he was recruited by white Republican leadership to run against Amons, the only African-American clerk in Champaign County history. Like Daring, the hard, overt, and aggressive white supremacist Stuber is an election denier. And so it goes on in a similar vein. I don't know if there's any other piece that's necessary to read other than the analysis of what Breitbart is attempting to do, which is to target a professor who, again, in this day and age, who is radical, to target that professor, particularly to have it being targeted for that person's university, to gain some sympathy, I guess, amongst their white readers, because I don't think they have too many black readers except for us right now, to go out and vote for Herschel and to make an issue of black folks who have a long tradition of calling out coons in our community and or people who act coonish and or sellouts, to label that as something as anti-black when these folks are obviously obviously not part of the culture, don't understand the history, and don't care about the history of going back and forth on these kind of issues, but are more interested in drumming out support for Herschel Walker, and at the same time, sort of bringing down a radical professor, and to stop him from having his voice put out. So I'll stop there.
So there's something about the conservatives, white conservatives in particular, like they really get bent out of shape when one of their coon friends gets called a coon. They get very upset and will start talking about, oh, you're racist, sir, madam. This is an A and B conversation. Kindly see your way out of it. Like, you white folks need not concern themselves about what black people call each other. And this is on a variety of different names, like the use of the N-word. White people be like, why do you use the N-word? That's not your fucking business. That's not your concern. You shouldn't be worried about how black people refer to each other. And a black person referring to a coon as a coon is not racist. It's accurate. It's necessary. It is a political designation that needs to be spoken aloud. And it's just so funny to me when white conservatives like really get in their feelings. Like, you call Herschel a coon. Herschel is a coon. Like, this is not even in dispute. Anyway, sorry, but
I think
good
V
for
in
the
the
professor.
comments is right. It's fake outrage. Obviously, when Black people call Black people coons, it's a reference, it's a condemnation of the anti-Black performance of that person. So it's obviously not racist. It's not anti-Black. It's defending Black. It's pro-Black to tell another Black person you are demeaning everyone with your white behavior. You know, like so. But yeah, you're both obviously right. I mean, it's, you know, Breitbart can't be seen as, even their readers have to be looking at this like an Onion story. Like, you know, we don't really give a damn if you call him a coon. We're going to enjoy that, you know, we can have some fun with this. It's like,
well, I'm not sure. I don't think their readership
really?
is smart enough to see the irony in it. I think their readership looks at that and goes, well, that's crazy how they get away with doing that and talking like that. That's why we got to support Herschel Walker.
Right.
He's telling the truth. And then these people are coming out against him and calling them names. What a travesty that is. He's one of the good ones. And they'll use language like that. And the irony will not seep in or like, I mean, look at the numbers of votes he got. And 90%, I mean, there was obviously some Black folks, but 90% of that was like white folks voting for Herschel Walker as if he was a qualified candidate to do anything for anybody at any time. So I don't think, yeah. I think the readership is subliterate. Thank you. Yes, I think that's what's happening.
Herschel is qualified to be an Uber driver to Planned Parenthood, shorty. Like Herschel would drive a busload of broads to Planned Parenthood to the abortion clinic. That's Herschel's special skill. That and running that football up and down that field.
And they would all be his, right? And that would be the
course.
point. Right. They would all be his.
Hey, it's easier to run the chicks
none
to
of
the
them would
abortion
be
clinic
Black.
than to actually use a condom or use birth control. Herschel said he don't believe in abortion. Nigga, clearly you don't believe in pulling out. There's a lot you don't believe in, Herschel. There's a lot non-believing.
I think I blame this on CTE and the NFL. I don't even. First of all, ever since I know I'm just playing, but going back to my days as a fan of the Washington football team, Herschel Walker has been ruining my life. Remember, he is the one whose trade to Minnesota gave Dallas that super team in the 90s. So like Herschel is just a problem all the way around, and he just continues to grow and grow and grow. But just real quick though, in all seriousness, I really do, you know, I don't like that any stress could be encouraged among folks like Sundiata in terms of dealing with the newspaper or the university. You know, that's the real shady part that folks like this, you know, when you know, like when the reverse hashtag folks tag Morgan State University and say, do you know you have a professor like Jared talking about that, like that kind of stuff. So like you really, so you would really want to see the unemployed version of me? Like, is that really what you want? Like, that's the no insurance for his family version. Like, that's what is that really what, like, I don't think that's not helpful. So like, I mean, it's just so fucked up, man. I hate that. We can't just argue and disagree and do our journalism. You got to go for somebody's job and their healthcare and all that other kind. Like, anyway.
Well, in the Breitbart incidents, we're talking about white folks here, Jared. That is their go-to. Okay, like if they cannot correct the Negro and the Negro's errant behavior and or speech via, you know, social media bullying, oh, they are going to call your job. They're going to call your job first thing in the morning. They're calling your job.
To that last comment, I in all honesty, I did not know Tariq Nasheed had that rally. Otherwise, I would have extended my stay in the city and gone on down there Saturday, just to see that live and direct. The funniest thing I saw covering the rally was when Roland Martin took to his airwaves and condemned Tariq and that crowd, basically saying, if you want reparations, you have to vote for Democrats. Republicans are definitely not going to give you reparations. That was Roland's argument. Like, if you want,
so they had to meet. They had the rally.
They had the rally. Oh, there's video. We
need video. That has to be a story. I don't got into that. I need a video.
All right, during the ear doctor's next break, I will pull up at least because I have it. you know, from Comedy Hype covered. I'll at least pull up where I know I can find that video, but we can at least look at a little bit of that. But absolutely, I started to watch a little bit of Tariq's speech. I honestly couldn't make it through. It's a lot. It's just a lot. It's just very difficult. But I did not go out. But anyway, the short answer is I did not go. But I would have. I absolutely wish I would have known about that. I need to pay more attention to these folks.
Do you? When
No.
you say need?
No, I don't.
Need.
No. I needed to be where I was and go on home, take my happy ass back home.
That's right. That's right. For you got some speed camera tickets in the district.
But I do, but real quick, I almost forgot. Since I'm traveling at the end of this month, I pre-recorded a couple shows and that are very dope. One of which was with Kwesi Konadu about the new history wars. And in that discussion that you all will hear, we bring up this plan to do a live, because we end up being critical of the National African American Museum in DC. And he brings a very interesting and strong critique to some background of that. So we were actually talking about on December 2nd, broadcasting live as we go through the museum and have him lead us in a discussion. We were talking about trying to do it live on my show, but but the museum doesn't open until 10 o'clock. So we might have to push it back and do something special that morning. But it's some wild stuff. It's fascinating. So anyway, when you mentioned camera, it just popped into my head that we were talking about doing that. So Friday, December 2nd, in addition to all the other great things happening on this platform, that there's going to be, I think, a very special virtual trip live to the museum.
I'd be interested in that. Kamal, have you been to the Black People's Museum? Okay.
No.
Okay, so good. So I don't feel bad. Okay, so I have not been because,
You're closer than I am.
Well, regardless, I mean, but I'm from here though, you know what I'm saying? So all this shit that they put in a building, I've seen it in 5 other buildings before they put it in one building, right? And I've been to the Blacks and Wax Museum in Baltimore. What the fuck? The Smithsonian ain't got shit on the Blacks and Wax in Baltimore.
I've been there. I took the girls to that one, minus the lynching display. But I did.
Oh, right. Oh, dog, the slave ship. That was, I mean,
that was very difficult. Yeah.
Yeah, but anyway, but no, I don't know. The Black People Museum in DC is just, maybe because when it opened, it was such a bougie affair, and that kind of set the tone for me. I'm like, this just.
Wait till Dr. Konadu breaks down. He goes into the intellectual backing of the museum, like, so it's fascinating, and because when he brought it up, the quick segue was that I had mentioned I'm on my own little personal boycott. Like, I'm not interested. I was like, I'm not. And then when he brought up what he brings up on our show, on that discussion, which people will hear on the 21st, I think, it led to us talking about, well, maybe we should go and have you lead us in a discussion, because that would be really the only reason I'd be interested in doing that. And it's very, so anyway.
They had the Wakanda Forever red carpet at the Black People's Museum.
And DeRay McKesson. So, what more is there really? Leave it at that. But anyway, but speaking of prominent Black folks deserving of museum honors.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Hey, you know what? Speaking of Kamal, I got another job I didn't tell you about. I used to be a tour guide at the Apex Black History Museum.
Stop playing.
You talk about trauma every day. I think Black history museums got to be only for people that don't know their history. Because
wait a minute, so you were leading people through museums where you had to like
talk about what happened,
read people's names and places and pronounce it.
Whoa, I don't like your tone there, Jared. It's a slight bit disrespectful. And I will take sub illiterate, because if y'all ain't saying thee and thou, y'all ain't speaking real English anyway. So take that. You know what I mean?
My whole thing
right.
is
it's just sub-literate. It's not sub-illiterate.
What you say?
It's not sub-illiterate. It's subliterate. This is so perfect. I love it.
See, exactly, right there. Hey, so I'm glad to give you a little bit of humor today. Let me go ahead and get to our next break right here on the Remix Morning Show. Yo, what's good, everybody? Welcome out. Hey, that was the wrong one. Let me get to the right one, man. Y'all got me over here messing up. All right, what's good, everybody? What's good? Welcome to the Remix Morning Show. I go by the name of the Ear Doctor. I'm glad y'all are tuned in. We got 274 people watching live right now. Let's get one more, and then we got a live mix at the end of the show. So make sure y'all hit that like button while y'all are here. All right, with that said, it is November. It is the month of the Scorpios. It is my birthday month, and it is Hip Hop History Month. So with that said, we're going to talk about somebody that gave us some history right here in hip hop. So who are we going to talk about? No other than
the queen of the East Coast funk gangster, pack ruler on the ground since 89. It's all in your mind, but what's yours is mine.
That's right. That is Hurricane G. She just made her transition the other day at the age of 52. That's right. Hurricane G, also known as Gloria Rodriguez. She's Puerto Rican descent. She had a song called Somebody Else, which reached number 10 on the Billboard and rap singles. Like I said, straight out of Brooklyn. She was down with the Hit Squad, one of the only first female member of the Hit Squad, which was Keith Murray, Redman, Das Effects, EPMD, all that. Like I said, she made her transition November 6, 2022 at 52. She has a daughter named Lexus. Bless up to Lexus. She had 2 studio albums, all women, Mommy and Papi, with Thurston Howell III. All right. Big up to that sister right there. And who else are we going to talk about? My man, Tame One. That's right. We talking about artifacts. Artifacts right here, as you can see, Tame One, another loss in the hip hop community, in case you didn't know. That's right. That brother right there, he did his thing with the artifacts. He also passed at 52. He's also the first cousin of Redman. That's right, Reggie Noble, aka. So big up to their family and bless up to all them. We keep losing people in hip hop, y'all. It is crazy. But with that said, big up to all hip hop heads out there and keep the hip hop history going. We got to keep it going and keep it moving. All right, peace out to them. Now let's go ahead and take you back to the Remix Morning Show. All right. Artifacts of the wrong side. Hey.
Damn. Damn, that's sad.
Yeah, I guess we're off mute here. Let's get Kim.
Sorry.
Nobody.
Am I off mute? Okay. That's very sad to hear, man. Big up to Hurricane G and Tame One. Like it really hurts my heart to hear about our folks passing away in their 50s. Like it really blows my mind the amount of people that are leaving up out of here before they even get a chance to be old.
Man. Yeah, it's crazy. I hadn't heard about Hurricane G. I saw people talk about Tame One on Instagram, but you're right. Yeah, 52 is crazy. I mean, that's crazy. All of this is way too young. It's ridiculous.
Yep. All right.
And I wasn't too familiar with Hurricane G's discography. I just know her for very infamously lacing those Redman tracks. Yo, Redman, fuck that shit, Red. Kick that old hard shit. Get off that soft shit. That's so shit.
Oh yeah. Big up to the whole all that, man. And also, I didn't get to tell y'all. Guess who came to the Black Man Lab? USA Today. Yes, we got actually something on USA Today. They Twitter. They talked about the Black Man Lab. We allowed them to come in and see what the black guys are talking about. So,
What they say? What was the tweet?
you know, they was just talking about more the whole voting thing. Why aren't black men voting? So that they came in for that.
Are you quoted? Air doctor, are you quoted?
Not I.
So they came to talk to y'all about why black men don't vote.
They was asking why. Yeah, they was asking why aren't black men voting, and you know,
I don't even think
What was
that's
some of the
true
answers?
as a statistic. I don't even think that. You
Oh,
know what
it
I mean?
is.
Like I think it's this narrative. I think there's a drop off from the whole idea that black men are the laggards is like, again, if you look at it through a mainstream lens of politics, for particularly like the Democratic Party, right? Black women are the highest supporters, but right below them are black men, and then every other category, right, of folks. But the focus seems to only be on when black men, as in their individual opinions, sort of underperform. And so it doesn't mean there's like not some issue to discuss, but the great amount of time given, as opposed to, have you seen what your white comrades are voting for? USA Today? How much of a coverage are you giving that? And as opposed, like, that should be your daily coverage over and over again, kind of thing, if that's your issue.
I think the main thing is a lot of black men don't trust politics, and at the same time, we got a lot of physical labor jobs that will not allow us to get off and go vote. So it's a number of things. And I definitely feel like number one is we don't trust the politics.
But the question would be why, and then I think to Kamal's, as I understand Kamal's point, I'd love to see what these actual numbers are, because it seems to me it's more like it's just a device used to blame black voters when Democrats don't win, as opposed to looking at why, you know, what Democrats don't do for black people when they do win. So it just, you know, in the USA Today, come on, man, you know.
Come on, man. All right, with that said, I catch you on next break.
No. Because I don't know. I got to explore. I'm sorry, the museum thing. I just so my last thing on your museum job. I don't know if you heard me the last time. So I understand how you move drugs when you're doing the cars and the trunk and the pizza. How do you move it when you work in the museum, son? Can you give us a little info from back in the day? How you did that?
They got bathrooms at museums. I'll just leave it at that.
Thank you. I knew there was a hitch. I knew you had some angle. I just knew there was an angle, son. That's all I wanted.
It's a good cover because everybody knew he wasn't no real tour guide. So there's like
he's like, this is George Washington Caver over here.
Y'all gonna stop disrespecting my brother, man.
They would start crying, and I would come over with a tissue with a bump in it and be like, "Yo, you good?" Nah, I'm playing. Anyway, man, stop playing, man. I know a little bit of history now. Y'all better stop acting. I had to prove that in the Buddha was a black man the other day. They wouldn't even believe it, but now they know. Go do your history.
Kamal, stop derailing the show. Stop derailing the show.
Hey, while we're derailed though, so just real quick, so I have this announcement that I can't share until next month, and I had another meeting about it yesterday because it involves a media team. This shit is fascinating. I have never had anything like this, and they met with me because they want to, maximize the media coverage of what I'll be announcing in a few weeks. And they, it's this whole thing about what kind of media do you want to do? Are you, willing to do national TV? Are you willing to do this and that? And I was like, hell yeah. Put me anywhere. I was like, whatever. And then they were like, are there specific outlets that you want to get on?
Burn It Down with Kim Brown.
I said, yeah. I said, I've never been on Burn It Down with Kim Brown. Can you get me on that show? And they were like, I don't know. That might be out of our reach. Maybe the New York Times, maybe the Baltimore Sun, maybe the Washington Post, maybe NBC, something like that. But Burn It Down, we can't promise you that.
It's a toughie.
It's a tough get. But I did tell them, I said, because they said, are you willing to go places where you would have to be disagreed with or debate even? And I said, as long as it's not like the Breitbart and Fox News, I'm not interested in debating those folks. But I was like, Breakfast Club, Earn Your Leisure,
Rolling,
$1 million worth of Game. I was like all the big black capitalist podcasts, and they were like, okay, well, we'll. So I just want to see what
so exciting. When are you gonna?
I gotta wait till early December. I can't. That's the
So
thing.
basically, you're gonna be too big for us. You trying to say?
I
Damn.
am about to quit. I'm about to quit. I'm about to quit. And then I said, if Dan Snyder sells the team, and you know what I'm saying, like this is a new day. You know what I'm saying? Herschel election. Got another black senator.
Jay
you
may bring
include
you on
Rolly?
as a minority owner of the team. You know what I mean?
You know what I'm saying?
Would you go on Roland Martin's show, Jarrod?
Hell yeah, I would go on
Hell
Roland
yeah.
Martin's show. Absolutely. And I told and I reminded Greg Carr of that. No, what's funny though is Roland is sometimes it feels personal, although I know it's not. Sometimes because he has like picked a lot of people from this little atmosphere of ours to pop up on his show. So like my man Dr. Jason Nichols pops up there. My man Faraji Muhammad pops up there, has a show there. Of course, Greg Carr. So it's like another brother from Baltimore, he got on there. I forgot, was doing election coverage the other night. So it's like all these but I absolutely I was like, I did mention Roland Martin. I said all of that. I was like, because when I asked, like, I don't understand the question, what media would you do? Like, I've never had nobody, so they were like, oh, well, some people don't want to do TV. Some people don't want to do a combative magazine. And I was like, I'm here for all of it. I was like, put me anywhere. Let's maximize all of this stuff. Let's get it. But it's just wild to see like how people have teams. Like I know it, I intellectually know it, I've read about it, I've seen it, but to see it for me, I was like, this is uncomfortable. I was like,
you're gonna be the next Mark Lamont Hill, son.
I told him I'm coming for his spot.
I know.
I was like, I say way more harsh shit about Zionism. Like,
well, you wait. First, you got to wait a little while. You gotta temper it, and then go on. Your problem is
go on. Right. I gotta get this first like run. Day one. No, anyway, it was just very wild. It was very, and admittedly, it was very uncomfortable. Like I was like very uncomfortable. It's like, I'm not used to that. Anyway, it was weird.
Somebody directing your career. It sounds like somebody like boom, we can make you this, we can get you here, we can get you on that. You know what I'm saying? No more.
All you gotta do is cut the rest of that team.
Yeah, no more BPM. No more of this RT stuff. None of that.
They're coming for me like they came for Lauren. They want me to go solo.
Do it, son. Do it.
When you started
listing
listing
on
off
the Hill, what's that girl name?
Newspapers. When you started listing off the newspapers, Washington Post, Baltimore Sun, New York Times, all I thought about, I said, Jared's about to be really misquoted in a lot of these, big publications. They're about to be taking Jared's shit all out of context.
They have to clean that shit up. They will have to clean that shit up.
I'm about to get canceled for real. Like I'm about to get put really back into the margins.
Yeah, say nothing about Judaism. Just say nothing about Judaism whatsoever. Israel, Palestine.
Because he is Jewish, unlike whatever the fuck Kanye West was talking about, right?
The original black Jew.
He's got to be careful. Even then, he's got to be careful.
Yeah,
Rocket Star David, son. Let him know where you're from.
I should, and get the yarmulke. I should start coming on here like Ben Shapiro, wearing my yarmulke. That shit fucks. That would mess. Oh, that would be. Ooh.
I would say this. Save it for when you get into trouble, and then you need to get out of trouble. Then come back for it. Then come back. Save that out.
There we go.
Jared, going live on Instagram, making his apology, rocking his yarmulke.
Exactly.
All of that. I told him this too. That's me. That's get my red, black, and green yarmulke.
Right.
I did. I told him Brianna Joy Gray too. I was naming all of them. I was like, put me on all of their shows.
That's the one who I was thinking of.
It was funny. It was a funny, very, very surreal meeting for me. But I appreciate it. I'm like,
this is gonna be great. I can't wait.
I can't either. It's gonna be wild. Yeah. It's gonna be very wild.
When Jared
All right,
does his
anyway.
media tour, we're gonna have to do like a recap. Like, oh, this week. This was Jared's week on the media. Let's go to the clips.
Yes.
How was he misquoted this week?
And
What
now
errors?
we're gonna freeze it on when Jared, was frowning his face up. Now, Gerard, what were you thinking when this nigga asked you that question in that moment? Give us
What
your
am I
real
doing
thought.
here?
When he said you're
I
not
messed
black
up.
unless you vote for a Democrat, your response was,
That's what I just want to see. I want to, if I, and I told, like, I want to go, like, if the Breakfast Club calls, I'm going to New York. Like, I'm going, it's not gonna be no virtual. Like, I'm going up there. I want to see Charlemagne, like face in the face. And I want to get, anyway. So anyway, look, it'll be
the skin graft or whatever he's done to clean that shit up.
But those are the
eyebrow
audiences that you need
joint.
to be
That's
in
what
front
I
of.
keep getting. It's the eyebrow.
It's the
What's that?
eyebrow.
There's
Oh,
something
Charlemagne.
about the
You don't see the before and after look of Charlemagne? It's like he's
Oh,
gotten
come
like
on now. Like he was bleaching and Botoxing and all kinds of shit. I mean, I don't know that for a fact. I mean, I'm just looking at him like, what did you do to yourself? But okay. Well, that money, then you go on that Michael Jackson route, sir. Don't get too much money out here, Charlemagne. You be looking like DJ Envy after a while. You be looking light skinned and a motherfucker. But no, Gerard,
which is which.
you have got to get in front of that audience because again, it is the Breakfast Club, it is Charlemagne's audience that are the most misled or the most led astray out here. Maybe not the most, but they are definitely up there. So yes, if you can get in front of their audience,
I did tell them that in all seriousness. I did tell them. I said, like, in all honesty, that if the actual target audience would be at least partially their audience. So,
but then that becomes the big question, right? Because once he gets on once, will they let him on again? And what does he have to do to curve it to get on again? Because
and then to be honest, like, I gotta be real, like I have to be careful because I have, those are different spaces. They're not always easy to deal with. And Charlemagne is he's, I don't agree with him, but I don't think he's dumb per se, and I don't think that he's bad at his job either. So like that kind of stuff, and I see you come out, but I'm just saying, like, those spaces, I struggle.
I'm trying to think. No, I'm trying to. I was honestly doing a think face of like, how dumb do I consider? How subliterate do I consider Charlemagne? Basically, I've seen him perform well, but I'm trying to think. I was kind of trying to think, like, do I think of him?
But I also have like I have what's fresh in my head is those losses in debate with Dyson on his radio show years ago, and at that never aired Real News debacle. Like I did not do well. So like I straight up, so I gotta,
well, do you feel like with time and under
time,
your belt, have you like you better, you know what I mean?
Staying
like
focused,
yeah.
It's commercial media, so like the time can be different, the interruptions, the quips, I do claim that sometimes I need a little time and some nuance and sophisticated space to make a little.
Hey, it's broadcast, my guy. This radio, we ain't got time for all that. You better make that shit succinct, put it together quick, fast, and in a hurry. Nobody got time for all that professorial shit. They can make your point and get in, get out.
And then with the Dyson John, with the Dyson John McWhorter joint, it was definitely an issue of keeping my temper, like not losing my temper, because those two fools were on some legendary coonery, and I had to I struggled with that and didn't do well. So.
At a local news show, and then they were telling me, it was like, okay, your quotes are a little too long. Can you shorten those quotes for me? I'm like, nah, I can't. You're gonna
expand your brain, fool. I'm not shortening my thoughts.
I'm like, all right,
we got to go into this commercial break at 20 after, sir. On the nose, okay? Whether or not you are finished making your point or no, we are going to
get an ear doctor transition if you still talking. It's gonna go straight to commercial in the middle of it, and Hey, but speaking of that environment, I did pull up real quick. I pulled up a section because I see it. This is where I get my news, on this kind of stuff from second. I need it distilled. I need it cut. I can't get it raw. So I got it through Comedy Hype. And I just want to play this little bit of a clip of Roland Martin and his words for Tariq Nasheed.
There you go. They ain't never gave you nothing anyway, so why do you think reparations will come tomorrow? They ain't never gave you nothing. But putting yourself in a better position, like Roland Martin saying,
my bad. I thought I had it set up. My bad.
Will be, who's running
that's who I'm trying to be in the black media space. But hold on, let me back it up here. Here we go.
Oh, let me go ahead and say, y'all can go to that little reparations rally on say November 5th. Y'all ain't getting nothing, not even HR 40, if they control the House and the Senate. You can rewrite it all day. You can have Darity. You can have Yvette, Antonio. They can do whatever they want. You will get nothing because not one Republican even remotely supports reparations. Then what y'all gonna tweet about?
Dog, I'm sorry. What is Joe Biden? First of all, Roland, Joe Biden still owes me $600 So let's not be like, oh, the Republicans ain't gonna give y'all nothing, and the Democrats, oh, what? HR 40, the reparations bill. Who's the one that keeps putting that up there? Who's a congressman? Conyers, right?
It used to be Conyers. Now it's, I think, Sheila Jackson Lee is leading that effort. But the other thing that Roland gets wrong there is that again, he doesn't even know the beef within that movement. Like Yvette and Antonio not going to be at a Tariq Nasheed rally. The reverse hashtaggers got their own beef with the FBA, so like they're not going to be like, but that his ultimate point is in defense of the Democrats is what is the funniest part to me. Like that's his ultimate, Yeah. It's like you not gonna get that unless you don't vote for.
Right. What is all that sass? What was all that sass? Why was Roland so sassy with the shit? Like, y'all ain't gonna get nothing. It's like, Roland, what are you getting? I see clearly you are getting something from somebody, right?
Oh, no, there's money. There's big bread in that. Yeah. The thing, so these are the things I think that is part of Roland, and not just Roland, but in that sort of what we would consider conservative mainstream media, like the harshest language is for Black folks. It's like the most. That's when they get into that. And white folks, oh, you racist. But when the Black people mess up and don't vote for the Democrats, that's when I will out blacken you to get that check and remind my sponsors how Black I am and how supportive.
Remember, this is the time of year when they make most of their dough because this is the election cycle. So all those Democratic commercials, when they're claiming they got the pulse of the Black community, and if you want the Black community to come out and vote, you need to advertise on my program. So this is when they make all they dough. They don't want nobody messing with that dough. They don't give a damn about no reparations that they know the Democrats ain't giving anyway. All they care about is like, what reparations is? I want that ad money right here, right now.
Is there something personal between Roland and Tariq Nasheed? I don't like to get into the personality disputes between media folks because I think it's like a goofy exploration and a waste of time and energy to figure out who is beefing with who. But out of curiosity, now I'm slightly curious because he seemed to have specific animus. Like he was coming to Tariq with a little bit of vim, with a little bit of fire behind his words.
I don't watch enough of any of them to know what they exactly say about each other. I can speculate that they would disagree, just as we saw there on this issue, because Tariq and them are saying don't vote for Democrats, which obviously is taken to mean vote for a Republican. I think the reverse hashtag crew is willing to do the same. They're in bed with a lot of conservative actors, so that would pit them against one another. Now, I do know a little bit in terms of like Dr. Carr that folks in those communities, in those spaces, have come for Carr directly, and to a lesser extent, me and some other folks like Dr. Winbush and the late Conrad Worrell and other folks in that generation of Hoteppers, because they're seen again, even as fraudulently as Tariq built himself up on the backs of that history with the Hidden Color series. He now condemns the true heirs of that lineage for not going, in the direction he wants to go in, even as I think the heirs of that lineage aren't going in the direction from the left perspective of that, so it's so, but anyway, but I haven't seen enough. I can't watch enough to know exactly what they're all saying about each other.
Cool.
Anyway, but we know what we're saying about our dear brother coming back up to the screen, that he is the one and only audiologist, resident audiologist.
This is the main camera right here. Hey, Tiffany Cross, I got a message for you. MSNBC, you don't want to be all on their videos dancing and smiling and to people you ain't really feeling.
Don't do it.
Come on over to Black Power Media.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Come
Stop.
on over.
Quit while you ahead.
Wow.
No invite. She ain't gonna be able to say what she want over there. She can come on over to Black Power Media. That's where you can say what you want. We ain't got no corporate sponsors, nothing. All right,
come over here and be broke.
I didn't like the nothing. I didn't like the nothing. We ain't got no corporate sponsors, nothing. We ain't got.
Further marginalize yourself.
We got remixes. My bad. We got remixes, man. Come on. All right. Well, let's go. I see y'all ain't feeling Tiffany Cross, so let's go ahead and take it to this next break right here on the Remix Morning Show. Yeah. What's good, everybody? Welcome out to the Remix Morning Show. That's right. You are tuned into the dopest morning show on the planet. In case you don't know, ask somebody. Hit that like button while you're around too. So what we doing right now, you see I'm still in these hip-hop streets. I wanted to give some love out to another hip-hop legend. Who am I talking about? No other than the one they call Crazy Legs. That's right. When we talk about hip-hop, we're talking about one of the best-known b-boys of his time. Now, let me tell you a little bit about Crazy Legs. Straight out of the Boogie Down Bronx, also known as Richard Colin. He's been on his hip-hop streets with the Rocksteady crew, which came out in like 1983. He's done a bunch of community outreach, dance instructions, dance theater productions, and he's been on the scene working with the hip-hop community for a while. You could also see him back in, what was it, like back in 1982. He was also in Wild Style, which was a film. Also Style Wars. All these dope hip-hop movies you can see him in. And he's got plenty of awards for best choreography and all that. Pioneer Awards from the Source for being one of the founders of it. So big up to this brother right here. And in case you don't know a little bit more about my man Crazy Legs, let me put y'all up a little bit on something. This dude right here got moves. He got crazy moves, B. Crazy moves. Check him out, man. So, yeah. Crazy Legs back, as you can see right there. He's been around for a minute. Big up to Crazy Legs and the Rocksteady crew and how they do. You know what I'm saying? So if you don't know about them, make sure you find out about them, and big up to the hip-hop history that we deal with and represent each and every time. All right. So with that said, let's go ahead and take it back to our Remix Morning crew. You know how we do.
So I think they added breakdancing as like an Olympic sport. Like breakdancing has had some sort of global come up. And you look at the kids who are breakdancing, and it's very few Black and Hispanic. It's a lot of white kids and Asian kids. Not to say that the Black kids and Hispanic kids don't do it no more, but
breakdancing is an Olympic sport?
Yeah.
It is blown up internationally.
Why
It's huge. They got like sponsors and like Red Bulls involved. Like they got like it's and to Kim's point, there's none of the originators are involved.
But that always happens. Like we're like black folks innovate shit, and then we're like, we done with that. We're gonna do something else. So whoever, it's like a move on thing. And then white folks or everybody else comes and starts to take it over or rock it or whatever. And sometimes it's stolen, obviously, but I feel like in this one, folks left it behind. I don't feel like breakdancing.
I don't agree.
Do black people move on from spaces, or is it that just when the whites come in and start to take up more fucking space, you'd be like, you know what, God damn it, y'all can keep this shit because
that's
y'all came here and fucked it all up.
That's like slang. We'll use a slang for a while, and then when it becomes mainstream, we find another slang word.
I think
like folks took breakdancing away from black folks.
Oh, absolutely! As soon as they started putting it in movies and commercials, and all of that, and
all dancing. I mean, not all day, but like a good amount of black forms of dancing or have been white. Like everything else has been whitened.
But even when you go over to these European countries, you're gonna hear underground hip hop, like the hip hop we was listening to back in the 90s, where we'd be like, man, they listen to that real. And we are here listening to trap. So
I still don't know if I
think
it's an Olympic sport though.
We're well into the 290s in viewership. So when you do your end of the show mix, you can remind us of what the good music is that we're not hearing.
Speaking of hearing, I feel like I'm hearing Kamau for the first time ever. I don't know who told and taught Kamau how to turn on his microphone, but I can hear Kamau very clearly and sharply in ways that I've not heard him.
Time that you've ever heard.
We've been on together. He got his mic in the screen where he can actually just talk and it picks it up. Good job. Kamau.
Who helped you with that?
Oh, damn.
There you go.
I was just
about to nice to Brooklyn.
Brooklyn.
You cannot be nice to Brooklyn.
Nah, that shit ain't working
Brooklyn
at all.
can't even take compliments.
The light is cracked.
Speaking of Brooklyn, by the way, Math Hoffa's show was one of the platforms I told him to book me on. My expert opinion. I said I want to go up to the barber shop. So speaking of Brooklyn,
that's what I need.
I need the announcement. Son. I need to know, and I need to know the tour schedule. I'm assuming this is a book.
No.
This is just like somebody who wants to just take your career to the next level and shit.
This is
Jared is the Real House Husbands of Howard County. He's going to be part of that promo tour.
Something's going on. I mean, it makes
sense. We
had
the pre-production meeting for a reason, Kim.
You a professor. You got the book. There's no reason for you not to be. I mean, again, Mark Lamont Hill, before he wrote a book or Ghost wrote a book, his shit, he was out there. You know what I mean? I don't know for sure. I don't know the brother. I don't know for sure. I'm just saying. But so there's no reason why your shit can't be popping at this stage. This is the time. Seize the time, as they say.
That's what I told him. Put me on Math Hoffa show. But anyway. But Ear Doctor, thank you for that because again, as I continue to teach these hip hop classes, and I'm reminded that young folks do not know this history, we appreciate your contributions here during Hip Hop History Month.
No doubt.
But I definitely think the white folks come in, the sponsorship comes in, and all the money gets put in that direction, and all the black and brown folks end up saying, "Well, damn, I got to get a real job now." So I guess that's. I guess that's it.
I'll leave on an economical note because I know you like to deal with that.
What note? What kind of
economical?
Note?
Yeah. Okay. So that's the whole thing about the capitalistic corporate side. It's like they threw breakdancers to the side. They was like, listen, we can only afford an MC and maybe a DJ, and that's it. We cannot afford to bring a dancer along. We cannot afford to bring graffiti along. So these other elements of hip hop y'all talk about, leave that to the side. We can bring the rapper. That's all I got. Why your face like that?
An Olympic sport?
I think it should be. Why not?
Why?
It takes talent
and skill and degree of difficulty. Of
you do a windmill, Kamau.
No. I'm not saying none of that. I'm not saying none of that no more.
Hey, I just tuned in. I looked briefly at this year's DMC World DJ Championships, and it's the same thing, by the way. as I was scrolling through, it was there was almost no melanin involved, and I was like, wow, these Eastern Europeans be rocking on them turntables.
You don't need rhythm for certain things.
Shit.
Like the techniques of DJing and scratching. You don't need rhythm for that. That's numbers. That's numbers. You got to understand when you're dealing with this music, a lot of it is all about numbers. That's the universal language.
Rhythm. That is what rhythm is. Rhythm is beats. It is syncopated. It is numerated. Yeah, you do need rhythm to DJ. Ear Doctor, come on now.
That right there.
The real question is, do you even need a turntable to DJ anymore? You don't need none of that shit no more. Yeah. It's all cats holding up like this. Here's my turntable. Here you go. Where can I plug that into? Kind of shit.
Facts.
But yeah.
All right. Well, let me get up out of here. I'll catch y'all at the end with a mix.
Better.
Yeah, let him get himself together because he owes us for real. And shout out to the remixers for showing up and putting the DJ to work. Anyway, anybody got a story they want to get to? I did pull up. It was on the run sheet. Shout out to Sister Erica for that. Just to complete the.
I sent y'all email. Email.
Okay, I'll get that, Kim. But just while I'm pulling that up, I'll just leave this on the screen for your perusal. The story does not say why she was removed. I don't know if folks know of what the real story was behind Tiffany Cross's unexpected tie cutting and them not renewing her contract. I did look through this very quickly, and it doesn't really explain. It just says it's happening, and that her show Cross Connection is leaving the NBC Universal owned cable news outlet. And we should add military industrial complex, pharmaceutical industry, Fed run, blah, 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 news outlet. But
well, I don't know for sure. To be honest, I never really heard of her before she just got fired. That's how much I don't look at mainstream news. But I did read a couple of things, and y'all might be, some of y'all might know this, or whatever. So apparently she was on some other show, and she called Florida like a dick or something, like the whole state of dick. And then I think there was this whole back and forth around whether or not she was doing the standards or whatever. It's not based on ratings because apparently she had the highest rated show on the weekends. So it's either they considered her language, her rhetoric, or whatever it was. I don't know what in particular it was, but they decided to cut her as opposed to what's the other sister that's on the air that didn't
Joy Reid.
Yeah, Joy Reid. Who's had her own like so-called, these so-called scandals because of her past broadcasts in other places. So that's the only thing I heard about it so far.
Sounds like some bullshit because I remember they kept Chris Matthews on the air for a very long time. And Chris Matthews had said a number of problematic statements, some of which I captured on my phone because I said, I can't believe they letting this motherfucker just sit up here and talk this shit very openly. So I can't speak to Tiffany Cross, her show or anything like that because I don't watch MSNBC. I don't even know what they be doing, but I know that it is a very small margin of error for Black women, particularly very visible Black women on a mainstream platform like that. Like the white men get to say, they get to what's the phrase they use when they say something that it was badly phrased. They get to say things and phrase them badly, or it was a slip of the tongue. They got all the country for the white men broadcasters to make those kinds of quote unquote mistakes. Those Black women cannot make those same mistakes.
And people kept pointing, what's that? Is that it was the guy who is it Chris Todd or somebody like that?
Chuck Todd,
yeah, who is and I agree, who is the most boringest, ill-informed, mainstream, know nothing news person he cannot have an audience. There cannot be a real audience for this dude's show. And he continually for the last 10 years has been allowed to have a show and talk and be an expert and all the rest of it. And that dude is garbage. He is subliterate. He's subterranean literate. That dude is garbage.
But Tiffany Cross, she comes out of the Rolly sphere, right? I mean, she was she did a number of appearances on Roland's show. But she's a reliable Democrat. I mean, that's it. That's the only way you get on mainstream cable is if you have to pick a team. You have to be on somebody's political team. And if you are not claiming a political team, there's no room for you. There's not a platform to be had for you on those particular spaces. What do you guys think? Kamau already said he didn't know, sis. Jared, your thoughts?
I don't really know her. This is the most I've heard about. I think I saw one segment of hers once a year or so ago, and just thought she was, just another Black woman on MSNBC. I didn't think of it, but I had not heard about any of this. I don't know to what extent they're blaming ratings or whatever. And whatever Kamau was saying, that's the most I've heard about this whole issue.
Oh, and there was something with Tucker Carlson. Like he said something about, apparently and as always, of course, MSNBC cowers in the face of any conservative pushback, because their liberalism, like democratic liberalism, caves in the face of any challenge, particularly from the right wing, or particularly from the white folks who they consider to be their actual, whose audience they're trying to fight with, I guess. And so I think that was another aspect of it, is somehow somebody like Tucker Carlson somehow said something, and that was another reaction. Again, there's been no official, I think, as Jared said, there's been no official word as to the reason. And I think even in Tiffany Cross's statement that she put out, she didn't necessarily give a huge kind of this is what they've told me or anything like that, So yeah.
Yeah, I do admit, and it is a contradiction politically, but I do admit that I have a sort of visceral reaction to feel bad when anyone loses a job. And sometimes I have to remind myself in certain cases not to worry about it. But so I guess that's the only thing I'm really feeling right now. It's like, damn, it's like, for some reason I feel like I want us to have this fight without anybody losing their job. And I know that this is ridiculous. I want all of us need to lose our jobs for this revolution to happen. Yeah. But my point is I always feel like it's just that initial
yeah. And a Black person who's relatively speaking in a camp of liberal progressivism, but I felt too. I was like, oh, that's too bad,
because she's not going to get another shot. She's not going to get recycled back into wherever.
She might get CNN. She might get she might. I feel like she's famous enough, and there's been a lot of Black support, Black, well-to-do, upper class Black journalists or social media influencers who've come out for her support. So she might, if she can't get the CNN thing, she might land a BET job. She'll land one of those kind of jobs. Again, like a Mark Lamont Hill. She'll land like a Mark Lamont Hill, work for some newspaper, some paper online, and get her own show. She'll get that kind of stuff.
So these kinds of comments, I get it. You make a good point. She's got the 6 5, but my point. But
read the comment, Jared. Read the comment. Don't just react to it.
I'm sorry. She will be all right, Jared. She's coming from a 6-figure salary. And I'm saying I get that, but at the same time, as soon as that salary is gone, she's broke. You made 6 figures last year. She's probably not that far away from being check to check, with her standard of living. So it's not like you made a few $100,000 last year, you're good. And then I doubt she's in that. She's not in. Anyway, I don't know. Anyway, my point is, I get all of your points. I'm saying it's a contradiction. I don't need to. I'm just saying it's just a visceral reaction. I'm sorry.
Anyway. If Tiffany Cross expressed an interest in coming over to Black Power Media, what would the response be?
Well, Ear Doctor's comments notwithstanding, I think we would have to have. There is an official process. She would be welcome to the process, just like anybody else who is so interested.
She got to submit her form.
She submit her form for her show proposal, and we would vet it the way we vet everybody else.
Her first show title. Why the nomiker? Is that not the fucking word? Anyway,
moniker.
Why is Jim Crow Joe a not good way to refer to the president? It's I feel like that would be her thing. Why is the characterization of President Biden as Jim Crow Joe unfair?
That's a good one, but my selfish request for a first show would be let's talk about your former employer. What's really going on over there?
What's
really going on over there?
Dog, we know what's going on over there. I see very clearly what's going on. I don't know what's going on.
I want to
really
hear it.
But I just see who they kept around. I see who they keep around. I see who they kept around. I see everywhere from fucking who was the nigga on the Today Show? Matt Lauer. Let him stay around. Old rapey, coercive, sex ass. Let Chris Matthews drunk ass stay around when he was
had
married
a
to the
locking
whole
door mechanism. I'm still not over that joint.
Oh,
That is some disgusting, you nasty, dirty. Ugh.
But who installed it? Who approved the work order to have that lock approved on Matt Lauer's office door? Like, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, but you
And
see
did
the
they ever
ways.
explain why? And this is in the same category, like Melissa Harris Perry, whatever her name is.
Mm-hmm.
Like, was there ever an explanation as to why she was let go or contract wasn't renewed? Or I know it's back in the day now, but
we talked about it because they had kind of sidelined her before they actually fired her. So like she was still on the payroll, but she just wasn't appearing on air. And I remember her tweeting about like she was following. It was during election season, and she was at a hotel or someplace in a lobby, and maybe somebody threatened her. Like it was a lot of details that escape me right now. But no, I don't really remember the specific reason why they did.
That's how Joy got her job, right? Joy stepped into that slot, the black woman slot.
That's right. That's right. That Saturday morning slot. Yep. Ooh, Melissa Harris Perry. I don't know how I think about her overall, but I do remember watching her show once, and she had Sweet Honey and the Rock performing on MSNBC on her political show, and I thought it was really good. They sang beautifully. But yep. So anyway,
Kim, I did pull up the stories you emailed. If you want to get to them before we
can we get to the y'all want to be stateside or y'all want to go to the continent?
I'll defer to you, Kamau, on that.
We can stay states. I feel like this has been a stateside show. Let's do stateside. What you got stateside?
Yeah, this looks wild right here.
Can you read that out for me, Jerry? Because I have misplaced my bookmark.
The video thread said here from the Twitter feed of Ford Fisher, quote, "We ain't saying hands up. We're saying we're gripped and dare you to shoot," end quote. Black Lives Matter of Greater New York founder I Am Hawk Newsom. I Am Hawk Newsom spoke out today armed in Gulfport, Mississippi at a rally for Jaheim McMillan, a teen shot dead by police last month. I think there's some audio here.
We saying hands up. We saying we gripped up. And we dare you to shoot. Fuck y'all talking about.
Yes, sir.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Fuck 12. You ain't gonna be able to say that enough out here. Out here, it's them against us. Bottom line, they are the enforcers from imperialistic, oppressive government, and they're the front line to keep niggas in check. And until you stand up to that, you ain't saying nothing.
Yes, sir.
So we got people here from across the country. We need more. We came out here too deep. We met up with Nick Bezel. I've been talking to Brother Patrick. And you know what we said? We said we might not have numbers, but less is more. There's plenty of us. I'd rather 10 soldiers than 10,000 cowards. People who are willing to stand up and lay down their lives for us. For us. For us. For our babies. For our mothers. Man, listen. Respect is not given. It's taken. Freedom is not given. It's taken. You think about that. You think about that. Next time you come out on some dumb shit. Oh, I'm scared. I'm scared of this. I'm scared of that. They might arrest me. Nigga, you running around selling crack and you scared to come to a protest and get arrested? You don't want me to go in? You don't want me to go in? You don't want me to go in? All right. You got Bloods and Crips that'll bang on each other, but a police officer could slap their mother, choke their father, and kick their kid, and they won't do nothing. But let me tell y'all something. This ain't a social media movement. If it was a social media movement, this street would be flooded.
Yes, sir.
The real movement, Brother Markel, is in the streets. It's in the streets. Y'all come together, get 400, 500, get some groceries, give out bags of groceries. And when people come for that free food, you give them knowledge. You give them knowledge. This is about organizing. This is about organizing. You ain't gonna march your way to freedom. You gonna fight and organize your way to freedom. Black power. Black power.
Ooh, that was powerful. So they were in Gulfport, Mississippi over the weekend organizing around accountability for the shooting death of Jaheim McMillan, or pardon me, the police murder of Jaheim McMillan, a teenager who was killed outside of the Family Dollar there in Gulfport. And the police have not released a lot of details. I don't even think that they have released the name of the officer who killed Jaheim, but that rally was attended by lots of organizers from around the country. I think Chairman Fred was actually down there, or Fred Jr. And yeah, I mean that I'm with the shits. I'm with the whole tone of all of that, And the Jaheim McMillan story has not gotten a lot of national traction, or maybe I have that wrong. But anyway, what do you guys?
No, I think you're right. It hasn't gotten a lot of traction. And I was going to say quickly that the police's original story was that he was armed and refused to drop his weapon, and the officer shot him, and this is a teenager, in the head. But there's videotape evidence and eyewitness evidence that shows that he was unarmed when he was killed by the police, and shot at close range. And like you said, this if this has not reached a mainstream or a huge audience at this particular stage, and so it's good that that the story is being uplifted, because that's the kind of thing that we need to do to make sure other folks know about this shooting.
Yeah, I thank you for sharing that, and I just have to calm down. That's all. I need to chill for a minute. I am very susceptible to the halftime speech, and I felt all of that. So yeah, I feel, very, I feel, yeah.
Do you guys know Hawk? Y'all know Hawk Newsom, New York?
I have not heard of this case of this brother. I have not heard of this gentleman or this group. This is all brand new to me. And as you said, I'm with the shits. Like, I am that.
Hawk, if you're watching,
that was good.
Join us. We'd love to have you join us on the Remix Morning Show, because that energy, we all felt it, and everybody in the chat felt it. So yeah, we would love to be better apprised and better informed about this case.
Yeah.
Out there in Gulfport.
It's the story made a couple of rounds on social media, but not in the great extent that it's made it, quote unquote, go viral enough that it's been picked up and a lot of folks know about it, which probably would help force the hand of the local police department to release the actual additional videotape that they have, and the officer's name, which, you're right, but at this particular date seems still not to be released to the public. So that is something that needs to happen.
Big up Ben Dixon. I think Ben Dixon's been on this story.
Exactly.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow. Right on.
Yeah.
It's
that's how I first heard about it. The little I know about it was through Ben.
Right on. Shout out to him for that, and his crew for that. And yeah, Freddie, I'll share the link again in the chat. Yeah, and I think that's a good slogan. I like that slogan too. Not hands up, gripped up. Anyway, yeah, that was right on. Woo! I admit I'm struggling right now. Like I gotta be careful. I am manipulatable.
He's ready to get in the van and get down to golf course.
It has been an issue in my life. When people, that call comes, people drive. It's like that honk. The car honks outside. Here I come. Here I come. Here I come.
Jared down the ride. That's good to know, though, Jared.
I mean, but you gotta be careful. But so I'm, that's why I'm struggling. But I have to admit to myself, I'm susceptible. You gotta be careful, Jared, because good God. Anyway,
let's go to the continent, Gerard. Take us right home.
On. Let's go home. So let me start this over and.
Hold on. Wheel it up, selector. Wheel it up.
Yep. Dang, stop.
Read for the people then what's going on. This is from Al Jazeera, I believe.
Al Jazeera English. Ghanaians are protesting against the government and asking President Nana Akufo-Addo to resign as costs for everyday items reach record levels. So this is just some of the sounds and some description. More than 1,000 protesters marched demanding the resignation of President Nana Akufo-Addo. They blame him for the soaring cost of food and fuel.
He has failed, and we are asking him to resign.
He vowed to stabilize the crumbling economy. The local currency, the cedi, has lost 40% of its value.
We have gold, we have oil, we have manganese, we have diamond, we have everything in this country. It's the only thing that we need is leadership.
Wow. What was her full quote? She said, "We have diamond, we have oil,
we have everything. We have everything. All we need is leadership."
Woo! A word.
No, this inflation, this cost stuff is real all around the planet. People are feeling it in their pocketbooks. It was funny. It was like amusing. So going back to the previous comment, like Joy Reid was on some show and said inflation. I'm sure it was somewhat of a slip of the tongue, but inflation was a Republican word, or most people never heard of the word inflation as a talking point to support Democrats. It's like, what? It's like, people know what the fuck it means when prices go up under anybody's administration. And again, this is happening all around the world. Not only is it still the lagging effects of COVID, but the war in the Ukraine, the cutting off of oil and resources, other distribution channels that have been cut off, the hoarding of resources, the price markups by these large corporations in order to profiteer off of this time period that we're in. And so this is having an impact on the ground in terms of people's lives and livelihoods. And again, we've seen stories, Haiti not excluded, around populations en masse beginning to rise up, because at least at this particular stage, there's aspects of the economic system and or as the ear doctor would say, the economical system that are impacting people's everyday lives. And folks are fed up for now. And the question always becomes what mobilization turns into organization. That actually means that there can be an overthrow and a takeover of government and resources to distribute back to the people.
And I don't know the specifics of Ghana, but it's being reported in this country, so I assume it's the same. That all of this is, it's not all the, even that list you gave, Kamal, was too long. It's all the corporate greed. Like it's all of them taking advantage of the COVID and of everything else. And I think Wall Street on Parade showed a graph that their corporate profits have gone from 11 to 53% or something like that. Like they're that's what's doing all of this. So but it is certainly a global thing.
We did a story last week where it was like one of the oil companies' quarterly profit went from like 16 billion to like 20 billion. And that's quarterly profit, not revenue. Their profit was 20 billion in one quarter. And that's them hiking up the gas prices to take advantage of so-called Russian oil not being on the market or whatever. So that's real. Yeah, what you said is real.
And to pull some of the threads here between all the stories we've covered this morning, the problem that I see in all of this is that she's saying, as many continental Africans point to, the problem is the corrupt leadership. Whereas as it's often mythologized that the problem over here is the failure of people to take advantage of what is available to them. And yet, as we saw in the previous story, clearly that's not what's going on. So what is obviously needed beyond just the individual leadership in Ghana or a certain style of movement in Mississippi is there needs to be some connections there. And that's why there is a stage and a microphone provided to people like Tariq Nasheed and others to make sure that these Pan-African linkages don't occur. And that's why Roland Martin and platforms like that are so well funded, to make sure that our politics is narrowed to the Democratic Party with nothing leftward in the works. It's like and then we end up with people with guns in Mississippi, people out in the streets in Ghana, and so on and so on, and as yet an insufficient ability to put that all together, to put all of this to rest for good. And even going back to the point I raised at the beginning, as another thread to connect our struggle to deal with these internal contradictions, so that we can get to the real fight that we have to have. Like it's all very it's a lot. It's a lot. So.
You know what else is a lot? That mix that the Ear Doctor is about to bless upon us for making our chat mark of perfect attendance. I don't know what the fuck it is, but how many people got in here with us today? What was our peak?
We got like 290.
What?
I saw 291 at one point. Let's give everybody their credit.
Balling.
And thanks to Hood Communists for publishing the solution so we can enjoy this mix unfettered. Appreciate you.
And tomorrow we're gonna be back, right? We're gonna have our new guest host on tomorrow. You gave
Lucretia should be back.
Hey, come on, Lucretia did a wonderful job co-hosting with us. She did outstanding. So who's gonna be next? Chat?
Exactly.
Don't everybody jump up at once.
I think Big Till's gonna come next.
Come on, Tamara.
And I'm sorry that we missed each other at that rally, Big Teal. My bad. I didn't know you was out there. My bad.
Come on, Tamara. Come on. Get on up here. We want to see y'all. Imani. Both of the Imanis. Imani now and Imani
came through once. I mixed it one morning, so why not come back for the remix, Imani?
Come on. Let's do this. Black Power Media. Remix Morning Show. Let's go.
Nice we're here to soothe you and make you. We keep coming back with more and more hits.
You'll excuse me, take a few minutes to mellow out. Big Alligators on the mic and I'ma tell about a minimum length of rhyme with strength and power. So listen to the man of the hour. Flow and go to a slow tempo and you know, sing ho, swing low, then yo, the show will go on. As I perform, transforming on stage like a Decepticon. But I'm not animated like a cartoon, I'm for real, shooting lyrics like a harpoon. Across the crowd of listeners and spectators, so let's groove with the smooth operator.
Rock is for now the main topic. Not looking at his cuts or cash flow of the pocket. You may not realize it or you may not know, but
he is a super.
When I say super, I'm not exaggerating. Dating for a guy like Scott turns into mating. He seems to be quiet, but I don't buy it. Proof is in the pudding, why don't you just try it, try it, try it, Lord.
Down by Lord. Down by Lord. Down by Lord.
Juice Crew, where you at?
Down by Lord. Down by Lord. My name isn't to share, my destiny is the stars. Being driven around in the precious cars. All his beats and my rhymes were chill. Now I'm back once again, ready to get ill. The beat's not fake, the rhyme's hardcore. My name is Empty Shannon, I'm down by Lord.
Mr.
y'all to the like beating. You can either dance or just have a seat and listen to the way in what I am displaying. A different kind of rapper language that I am saying. To all the party people, let it go with my info. When it comes to rockin' parties, I am a nympho. Maniac, brainiac for doing my dancing. My record make the music will put you in a trance.
What you looking for? The same thing. It's a new thing. Check out this I bring. The roll below the level cause I'm living low next to the base. Come on! Turn up the radio. They're claiming I'm a criminal. But now I wonder how. Some people never know. The enemy could be the Flint Guardian. I'm not a hooligan. I rock the party and clear all the madness. I'm not a racist. Preach the teach the
Cause don't they never had this?
Number one, never wanna run about the gun. I wasn't licensed to have one. The minute they see me, fear me. I'm the epitome of public enemy. Used, abused without clues. I refuse to blow a fuse. They even had it on the news.
And we out of here, y'all. Remix Morning Show, Black Power Media. Peace.